Squid's third album, Cowards, takes the band in a new direction, inspired by the concept of evil, which encompasses the entire album's sound that entirely focuses on bringing discomfort to the listener. It's a very good album, and sets Squid apart from the rest of the crankwave scene at the Windmill Pub. Squid famously formed their sound and some of their audience and core fan base at the Windmill, a pub located in South London, which you might have heard of for producing bands such as Black Midi and Black Country New Road. And Squid, coming from the same scene, was probably inspired by some of those bands, although kind of got relegated to the status of being behind those bands. And this new album takes it in a different direction, and it's entirely unique. Although their previous records might have resembled their peers a bit more, the cold shivers brought forth by Cowards set them entirely on their own track. They started their career by making more ambient soundscapes and jazz with their first album, and they continued with Oh Monolith, their second album released in 2023, which I wasn't a huge fan of personally, but Squid's come a long way since then. This sounds almost nothing like the band that they were in 2023. It's a concept that they execute really well with a lot tighter instrumentation and a lot more experimental instrumentation with more cohesive themes. The lead singer, Luis Bourlaise, takes a more laid-back approach to his singing this time, kind of talk singing into the microphone most of the time. It sounds a lot more eerie than the gloomy and repetitive riffs of O Monolith. This album starts off with the harpsichord Crispy Skin, which almost sounds as if the album's going to be positive, but it quickly breaks apart from the lush symphony that it sort of teased at the start, with the skittish drum beat that grows as the harpsichord grows more unsettling in its melody, with the repetitive beat driven by the harpsichord. The bass line drives the song forward even more gloomily. As the vocals come in, the whole thing starts sounding really eerie and sounds like a deranged man asking you questions as he questions himself throughout the song, and questions the listener directly throughout the song. He kind of reminds me of Cameron Picton from Black Midi in terms of the vocals in a way, although that's once again probably just because they formed in the same scene, and really this is a lot more unique than just a comparison to being a light version of Black Midi. Within the discomfort, the band experiment and use some really atypical sounds, like with the monotonous keyboard sounds of Fireworks 2 that also sort of resemble the instrument used at the very beginning of the album with Crispy Skin, and then the high-pitched wavering harmonies all over Cro-Magnon Man during the verses. The various sounds of the band experiment with really make this sound like anything before, not really rock music, but something beyond it, something really experimental. And songs on the album start at least somewhat normal before quickly growing unsettling as more instruments come in and as the vocals come in. So have some songs that build up to huge climaxes though. The album isn't entirely just eerie piece after eerie piece that just grow more and more unsettling. The finisher, the 8-minute Well Met, Fingers Through the Fence, really showcases a lot of their theatrics. The same with Showtime, two incredible tracks from the album that have a lot more build-up and contrast between the verses and the choruses. They established a really unique sound with this album, and if you're into a lot more experimental stuff, then this album is definitely for you. Style doesn't always connect with me personally, and Cowards demonstrates everything that's made Squid unique in their scene, and they fully set themselves apart from the rest of their scene as they go further into developing their own music, and they're in their own track creatively, not in the same track as the almost genre-defining Black Country New Road or the rabid fan base of Black Midi. I'm not entirely behind this album. It's really good, I feel, but I don't know how much I'll be revisiting a lot. They cover up the weaknesses of the singer by having a lot of really intriguing instrumentals, but they only stay intriguing for so long. Some of the tracks kind of blend together across the album, and it makes the album less memorable in general, Well, I feel like if you like experimental stuff, you may like this album. In general, this album is a good album that I may not come back to. Every time I've tried coming back to it, it just doesn't always fully click with me. Maybe it'll click with me as more time passes and as I learn to resonate with the themes of the album more. But for now, I've got to say this is a very solid album. I can appreciate a lot of the effort done by Squid, but I did not fully connect with this album, and I don't think it will be that memorable too far in the future. Just a piece that was entirely unique on its own that maybe other bands won't emulate or even try to emulate.